Welcome back to Pyeong Chang. Still a couple of minutes to go before the start of the men's mass start. The distance is 15 kilometres. The temperature much warmer than it was yesterday, +1, but it's still cold enough for the tracks to hold out. The wind now blowing at 25 kilometres per hour, which is as strong as it was on the first day. I can tell you it was over 50 kilometres an hour yesterday, and at -7 it was bitterly cold. So many of the teams cutting their training and practice short. Let's have a look at the course. 15 kilometres, as I say, with 4 chutes to be completed. They've got 5 loops of 3 kilometres. It is tough. Many of the athletes saying they have never ever skied tracks like this before. Well, it certainly made some interesting racing, and took a couple of days to get the officials familiar with how it works and how to marshal the courses. We had 1 or 2 controversies early on, but things running smoothly now, and there you see the start list. Of course, the medalists automatically go through, so that includes the top 6 all the way down to FAC. Then we have the rest of the top 15 in the World Cup, and then further down the order, those who have picked up the most points at these World Championships, and hence the likes of Ekholm and Bailey get in for USA, and Yanis Maritz of Slovenia getting in because Bjorn Ferry of Sweden still hasn't recovered from his illness, so he hasn't raced. He was desperate to start here today because he's had some good form in the mass start races. But Staffan Eklund, the Swedish coach, saying, no, if you're not 100% fit, it's not really fair to deny another athlete who is fit and has performed well here already. So Ferry is sidelined for the day, which is a big shame for him, obviously, but a big bonus for the Slovenians and Yanis Maritz, who gets to start. Well, there's the number 1. Next door to him, Berger, who took the silver medal in the sprint on the first day of the championships, and looking very, very relaxed here in Pyeong Chang. Maxim Shudov, silver medal in the pursuit. Slightly disappointed as he had the gold for a few minutes before the jury overturned the disqualification of Bjorndalen. Christoph Steffen, well, he's come good very early on. A brilliant junior. He's now shown that he can do it at senior level as well. Halvard Hannevold, who is always there at the major championships. 10 medals he's got now from Olympics and World Championships. There's the big surprise of the championships. Jakov Fak of Croatia, getting that bronze medal in the individual race. Next door to him, the World Cup leader, Thomas Sikora, only 28 points clear now of Bjorndalen. And then Svensson, the reigning champion, still not 100% fit, but he gets an automatic place because he is the defending champion. So he denies no one by starting today. He is not expecting too much. Mickey Grice, well, the golden boy of 2006 Olympics, has really struggled over the last 2 championships, but he did get the gold in Antolz 2 years ago. Just moments to go before the start of the last individual race for the men. It is the mass start over 15 kilometres. Bjorndalen looking to make it 4 golds out of 4. And away we go. All 30 men side by side. It's going to be mayhem for the first kilometre or so. Now, you want a good position as you come out of the stadium area, but you do not want to expend too much energy early on. What will the tactics be? Sikora slightly trapped off the start line. He finds himself down in 7th or 8th position. Who is going to take control? Bjorndalen knows that on these tracks he has a big advantage. Svensson has gone off well, straight out of his sickbed and already flying. Svensson, of course, won in Östersund last year. What a race that was, that sprint finish with Bjorndalen at the end. There goes Christoph Steffen wearing 4 for Germany. He's 23, as I mentioned, a very good junior. He took 3 gold medals from Junior World Championship level. Perhaps the most important stepping stone in his career, though, the win he got in the mass start in Antolz, which was the race of the decade, I think, with so many men competing as they came in for the last shoot. Let's hope we have a similar situation at the end of today's race. But as Bjorndalen says, with the tough tracks and the strong winds, that is unlikely. Good move from Svensson to get up front and set the pace. He's certainly going fast enough for anyone who wants to come past to have to push their levels right up to 90–95%. No one wants to do that at this early stage. Bjorn Dahlen will be quite happy to cruise along early on. Remember, he will build as the race goes on. In the pursuit, he did employ different tactics, going very hard on the first loop, but he was trying to take advantage of the lead that he'd built up from the sprint event. Good to have two Americans in the field today. Lowell Bailey wearing 29. We'll try and monitor his progress. Tim Burke, the best of the Americans over the last couple of seasons. He's wearing bib number 18. Just outside the top 15 of the world rankings. Tim Burke could have won the individual if he'd hit both targets or if he'd hit all 5 on the last shoot. Then again, many others could if they'd hit all 5 on the last shoot. Well, nice to get a really good look at the tracks to see what the athletes have been talking about. We haven't had many cameras out on the tracks, most of them focusing on the range, which is where a lot of the races are decided. But always nice to break it up, just see what sort of work rate they're pumping out on the snow. A little bit of cold weather over the week has allowed them to get the snow cannons going, which has certainly helped the tracks. You'll remember this time a week ago, there were desperate measures being taken just to lay down 2.5 kilometers of track. They have done incredible work. And I guess for that reason alone, we need to be thankful that these championships were in Korea, because I think they really would have struggled anywhere else with such dire conditions. Don't worry too much about the positions as they go through 1.3 kilometers. The first shoot will, of course, be at 3 kilometers. What's important is just to avoid any breakages, don't lose too much ground to the pack, and keep the pulse rate as low as possible before the first shoot. Nice to see an influx of Russians. They'll be supporting Ivan Sherazov and Maxim Shudov. Shudov, the favourite to take medals for the Russians. Haven't picked out on him quite yet. He's wearing bib number 3. He's a small figure. The Russians suit the light blue. I think that might be Shudov on the near side. Number 4 is Fak on the far. Number 6 is Fak on the far side, with the red and white squares of the Croatian team down the outside of his arms. Four Norwegians involved in this race, and at the moment in positions 1, 2, 3 and 4. Only Hannevold is slightly further back down the field. Italy's hopes are resting on Marcus Windisch and Christian De Lorenzi. And Lars Berger it is who has taken up the pace at the front of the field. What a championships for Berger, getting that silver medal in the sprint event. Dropped down to 5th in the pursuit, but that was still a good run. And then never really expected to do too much in the individual. His shooting isn't good enough to feature there. Finished 34th in the individual. But remember, Berger was called in at the last minute to replace Svensson. He did know that Svensson wasn't feeling 100%, so he was ready and primed. But he got a late call-up for the sprint race, took Svensson's place, and came through to take the silver medal behind Ole-Einar Bjorn Dahlen. The key to success in the first race of the championships was the starting position. Norway all decided to go late in groups 3 and 4. Other big teams decided to spread. Some big teams like Germany decided to go early on, and it was a decision that cost them. Berger looking very smooth. Germany have both Grice and Steffen near the front of the field. Shudov going through in number 5. We've got Thomas Sikora down in about 9th position at the moment. The big names are all up there, but no split of the pack on that first loop. And I think we could have expected that. Things will change loops 2 and 3. So Bjorndalen all the way up to lane number 1. He certainly won't be the first to clear a target. We'll keep an eye on as many targets as we can. Watch the caption on the right-hand side. Those of you new to the sport, a miss will be indicated by a little black dot. There you go, opposite Svensson, who has missed already. Berger's thrown his first shot wide. Shudoff gets one down. Bjorndalen takes a little bit of extra time to clear his first target, but he's got one hit, one miss. And the only person clear at the moment is Shikora, but as I said, he throws one wide as well. And there are all sorts of problems out there. Bjorndalen taking his time. I think it's a good decision. He gets 4 out of 5. Only Hannevold has gone clear, and it's going to be Halvard Hannevold who leads the way. The bronze medalist from the sprint event doesn't have to turn right, and off he goes. Excellent shooting. Right behind him is Klemen Bauer of Slovenia now. Bauer is pretty good in the pro, and he really struggles in the standing shoot. De Lorenzi, Makaviv, who's come in instead of Krugloff, or qualified by right. Krugloff hasn't managed to qualify. Other big names that haven't got through: Wolf of Germany, not good enough this season. Mikael Schlesinger of the Czech Republic, 2 medals in 2007. He hasn't qualified. And Vincent de Frau, the Olympic pursuit champion, is not in this race. Those 4 really struggling with their form at the moment. The top 10 obviously going well. So all change as expected. Well, I don't know what it is about Hannevold, but whenever we get to the majors, he seems to produce his best results. I think at 39...